What up, y'all? This your boy, Mr. Mars Sharp, Shortman Filmworks in the building. I want to welcome y'all to the channel, and this is the first video of many. This is going to be what I call the everyday man's film reviews of different movies and different, pretty much different movies I've seen throughout the years. And today's first video is going to be about the 1984 classic, Purple Rain, starring my man, Prince. I first got introduced to this movie. I always say I was 5 years old when I seen this movie, but it was 1984, and I was born in 1980. So if I was born in 1980, that means in 1984, that's when this movie came out. That means I was 4 years old. So I seen this movie when I was 4. I seen it with my mother, and I seen it with my brother. And one of the memories I can always remember from this movie is when the movie was over, my mother went right to the record store, right up the block. Right down in Brooklyn, New York. The movie theater was right on Fulton Street. If I can remember it right correctly, the movie theater was called the Lowe's Theater. I believe that's what the theater was called. But my mother went right across the street to the Wiz. It was a record store down there called the Wiz, and she went and bought that album. And I've been hooked on Prince ever since. I consider him to be my uncle, and when he died in 2016, kind of like lost I feel like a part of my family. But anyway, getting down to the movie. Doing these film reviews, I'm gonna do a 4 thumbs up scale, and we just gonna talk about the movie for a little bit. All right. Well, you know how it goes. The movie starts off, and it's got that Prince-esque type flavor going on. You got the music cranking. It starts off with "Let's Go Crazy," which has become like one of the most iconic to me. Now I ain't gonna say one of the most iconic Prince songs, but it's one of his most famous songs, and it starts the movie off, and the movie gets jumping from the beginning. You kind of get an idea of what's going on with the movie between him, and you got the rivalry between Prince and the Revolution, and you got the rivalry between the Morris Day and the Time, and you see how it pans out. And to me, I kind of feel like in a lot of ways, like, you got the side of the Revolution where, you got Prince, and he's got his, he's got the certain look about him, and you got the Time, which is kind of more like the machismo, macho type side. And you really think about it, a lot of this stuff comes out of Prince's brain. So even with the music, like, you got so many different songs inside of this movie, and I didn't know that Prince did a lot of the music, especially like the music for the Time, until I got older and started realizing that he did so much writing and so much producing and so many different things for this movie. Like Jungle Love, he's got an original where he's actually doing the vocals for Jungle Love. He's doing the vocals for Sex Shooter with Apollonia 6. So that kind of blew my mind too, because I'm like, wow, he kind of put his mindset into all of these different in all these different modes. And as he put his mind into all these different modes, and let you know how talented he really was as a musician. You know what I mean? As an actor, I don't know about that one. I mean, he did it. I mean, to me, he did a good job in the film in certain places. He did a good job on the film, but certain places you can kind of tell that he was kind of like a newbie. Even with a little bit of his bandmates. Like, I think for real, for his bandmates to kind of not be in the movie, I think his friction that he had going on with Wendy and Lisa, especially with is it Wendy? No, Lisa. No. Is it Wendy? Damn, I think it's Wendy. The one that was always giving him static, going back and forth. I think it was Wendy, because I think Lisa was the one that played the No. You know what? I got that all wrong. It is Lisa, because I can remember when he was on the song, she was like, "Shut up, Lisa." No, "Shut up, Wendy." And she's the one that was on the piano, and she was the one that was actually playing the guitar along with him. So that friction that they had together, I kind of felt Lisa's I guess animosity, her anger toward him in the film. And I feel like Prince did his thing more with when he was acting with Clarence Williams III, kind of on those serious notes, because you can kind of really see his emotions come out in parts of that film. And I think too, this movie was kind of autobiographical. I think a lot of it told a lot about his relationship with his father, between his father and his mother. So yeah, I think in regards to his acting chops, I think in those dramatic parts like that, he did a good job. And plus, Prince had like 4 other movies as well. We're gonna talk about those movies as well. But I think this was his first stab into going into it. You know, then he had his relationship with Apollonia, who she comes to Minneapolis to kind of make her big break, and she goes to the kid for help. I never really realized why. I never really realized why, or not even realized, but really understood why she chose to go to Prince's character, which is the kid. Could really didn't understand why she went to his character to help out, because it's kind of almost like he was supposed to be the next thing that was coming out of Minneapolis. You know what I mean? If you remember the scene, if for people who've seen the movie, and I can't imagine anybody who hasn't seen the movie. Come on, man, it's Purple Rain, 1984. This is a classic. This is a classic film, in my opinion. It's a classic film. But you know, you had the club owner Billy. He was talking to Morris Day, and he was telling him, you know, he had a couple different acts that went out to be big, and the kid was supposed to be the next thing. So I think probably like when you see in the movie, like she's kind of captivated with Prince's character when he's up there playing the guitar at the end of Dove's Cry. Not Dove's Cry, I'm sorry. At the end of Let's Go Crazy. And she's kind of more like captivated with his character, and she kind of latches on to him. And I think Prince kind of latches on to her too while he's in the film. But they had a really like crazy relationship in the film, because she came to him for help, and they established this relationship with each other. Then Prince kind of gets abusive and starts beating her ass. But I think he kind of goes that way because he sees it done. His father does it to his mother, so he's kind of repeating the pattern of what he's around, you know. And it's kind of like, well, you know, you kind of really don't know. You kind of don't know any different unless from what you see. So that's what Prince sees in his household. He sees his father beating on his mother. So he kind of takes on the same characteristics of his father. You know, he's this musician. His father's a musician in the film, and he takes on kind of like the same persona, just in a, you know, it's passed down from his father to the son. You know what I mean? So I think that kind of was an interesting dynamic too with the film, where it's like, you know, he takes on those characteristics of his father. You know what I mean? And I don't think he doesn't mean to do it, because after he hits Apollonia for the first time, when she tells him that she wants to join Morrison's group, you know, he goes slam, and I ain't gonna say he goes slam crazy, but he just goes off and just slaps the shit out of her. You know what I mean? And then when he does it, he apologizes about it. So in a way, I'm like, okay, he knows he's wrong in doing it, but you know, he's taking on the same characteristics of his father. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to see that in his character. And you know, he kind of I don't want to say, does he really evolve throughout the film? You know what I mean? Does he really change what's going on with him in the film? You know what I mean? Because if you really think about it, and I heard this in another review too, and I kind of thought about this too as I was going along. Prince didn't really help Apollonia in this damn movie. You know what I mean? You got Morris Day, who really helped her more, getting her shot, actually becoming a singer in the movie more than Prince did in this movie. You know, it's kind of like, you know, she was there for the relationship and kind of, I don't know, I guess kind of be his muse, but I can't really say he was really being his muse, because Prince was kind of going fucking crazy in this movie for her. You know what I mean? He was singing songs, the beautiful ones, and he's pretty much up on the stage, almost like begging this chick, like, what the fuck you doing with Morris instead of being with me? You know what I mean? And you can see it's going on with Morris, but you can see the rivalry that's going on between these two. You know what I mean? And then he does Darling Nikki, and Darling Nikki was just an all out like, yo, this is what I want to go on between you and me, and if you ain't with it, then you gotta probably you gotta step or whatever. I mean, it was so damn crucial that it made her run out the damn club, because, you know, I guess she was feeling the dude. You know what I mean? So I just kind of feel like he didn't really help her in the movie, man. I mean that was the purpose of her coming to Prince in the movie, to be like, hey, look, you know, I'm trying to get my big break. I'm trying to get up here. You know, I'm trying to be a musician. I want to be a singer. I ain't gonna say she was trying to be a musician because you know you had Prince handling all that other all that shit in the movie. But pretty much she needed somebody to back her, and he didn't really do much backing. You know what I mean? He kind of was just in her ass the whole movie. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you really think about it, yo. She should have ran with Morris, cause after Morris put on stage, Morris was like feeling himself, like I did what you couldn't do. You know what I mean? But once again, she still ran back to Prince ultimately at the end at the end of the movie. Even in the middle of the movie, she still ran back to him until eventually, he goes through his he goes through his situations with his father shooting himself, and I guess his father really feeling the pressure of his life, not really going too many places. I guess his father wanted to be this musician, and he didn't really get a chance to fulfill that dream the way he wanted to fulfill that dream. And I guess living in that environment and living in that mindset, he was just kind of like, hey, look, fuck it. What's the sense of me living anymore? And pretty much, tries to take his own life, because I think he's still alive at the end. At the end of the movie, he's still alive. He's still alive because he's got the bandage over his head, and then Prince comes in and kisses him on his head or whatever. You know what I mean? No, does he kiss him on his head, or does he kiss his mama? No, he kisses his father on the head in the movie. So, it's kind of like it's a real I don't know. I don't want to say it's a tragedy. I don't want to say that it was a tragedy that his father killed that his father shot himself in the head. You know what I mean? But it's kind of funny. It's not kind of funny, but you see that the issues that his father had is kind of trickled down and passed down to his son. Which is Prince. You know what I'm saying? So overall, I think overall for a 80s movie, I think it has so much of the 80s nostalgia in the movie. From the dressing, from the androgynous, you don't know if they male, you don't know if they female, to the music. The music is awesome, man. I mean, like I said, man, that soundtrack has been living in my head since I was 4 years old. I know every last song. The only thing I would say about the soundtrack that I wish they would have did the soundtrack. I wish they would have put all the music. They pretty much put all the songs that Prince did. From all the way from Let's Go Crazy all the way to Purple Rain. But I wish they would have put the Time songs in there. I wish they would have did put Jungle Love in there. I wish they would have put what is the other one? Jungle Love, The Bird. I wish they would put The Bird on the soundtrack, and then you had the what's the other song by my man? He was the guitarist, Des Dickinson. I can't think of the name of this. I can't think of the name of the song, but it's when everybody's in the club, they all doing kind of like this little bounce to the song, and the shit look cool as hell if you look at it. But I really wish they would have put that on the album. They got the special edition of the soundtrack, and they got a couple of the songs on there. I gotta go back and listen to it again because I don't think Des Dickinson is on there, and if he is on there, then I just totally missed the shit. But I don't really think he's on there because I was looking for that song for years, and I just can't find the song at all. Can't find it at all. But otherwise than that, man, the music is just awesome. Prince did his thing on this soundtrack, which he was already doing his thing from albums before this. I think he had like 4 or 5 albums before this movie came out. But to me, this is one of the greatest soundtracks of a movie that could have ever went down. You know what I mean? I got my favorite soundtracks, which I'm gonna talk about down the line when I talk about some other films. But to me, this is one of the best soundtracks inside of a movie that could have, ever jumped off. You think about certain songs, and I know for me, I have nostalgia for certain songs, as Let's Go Crazy, and then Take Me With You, and Computer Blue, and Darling Nikki. Darling Nikki is just one of them songs you just like, oh my God, for all the howling and screaming that he's doing in the song. Doves Cry, of course. Purple Rain is not really one of my favorite Prince songs. That's the surprising thing about it. Even though everybody raves about Purple Rain, the song is just this, that, and I think it won a Grammy too. I think not a Grammy, an Oscar. It won an Oscar for best original score, best original song, I believe. I should have did my homework before I did this damn video, for real. But I know it did win an Oscar, but it's not one of my favorite Prince songs. It's not a go-to Prince song that I actually would sit down and and listen to. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm listening to the soundtrack and it rides and we riding through the soundtrack, I'll listen to the song, but more than likely it's the last song on the album, so more than likely I'll stop before it even gets to that album. But my favorite part of that song is when he's actually doing the guitar solo. He's doing the guitar solo, and then he goes into the little I'm not even gonna try to sing it because I'm gonna sound horrible, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about. After this guitar solo, he goes into the main part of the song where everybody pretty much knows. And I guess if you at a concert, everybody's gonna sing that particular part of the song. But yeah, the music is great. As far as the movie goes, for an 80s movie, I think for an 80s movie for that particular time, that movie was just the shit. You know, I've heard stories of when the movie first comes on of people just dancing in the theaters when Let's Go Crazy was on. And I was 4 years old, and I don't really remember that going down at the movie theater. And if it did, I think I would have remembered that. I think that would have been one of my main memories. But, you know, I've heard stories about that going on in the movie theater, how it was such an impactful film at the time because of how big Prince was getting. 1980, I think 1984 was like one of Prince's most prolific years of just writing songs and being involved in shit. You know what I mean? So I think that movie has a really big impact for that particular time. Kind of just like, you know, Purple Rain has its nostalgia and has its time. And right around the time I think when Thriller came out, that had its particular moments. You know what I'm saying? But I know for me, I remember that movie because that was my first introduction to Prince. And I've been loving Prince ever since. Long-time Prince fan. As I said, I consider him to be my uncle. You know what I mean? So, getting to the scale, because we gonna cut this down. We gonna cut this down. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on the video. But on a scale of 4 thumbs, I give this movie 4 thumbs up for nostalgic reasons, because I have so many memories with this movie. But as a film wise, as a film, I give it 3. And I think I give it 3 because I guess maybe because of the acting. I would give it 3 thumbs up because it's got its hit and miss moments, you know. And I know these are not professional actors. They're not professional actors. These are musicians. These are musicians who are in a movie. You know what I mean? So I don't give it I don't give it 1 thumb or 2 thumbs. I give it 3 because of the caliber of acting. You know, it gets the job done, but at the same time, you kind of want to see better performances. You know what I mean? But if it came on TV today, I'll still watch it, and I'll still watch it for nostalgia reasons. So I gotta give it 2 ratings. It's 4 thumbs up because of the memories I have for it, and it's 3 thumbs up just as an overall film, just an overall experience of actually going to see the movie. And if they re-released it in theaters, I'm going to see that shit, most definitely. Just like I've done with a whole lot of other films that came out in the 80s and they re-released them and I went to the movie theater to go see them. So, yeah. So that's my review on Purple Rain. It's going to be many more to come. I got more films to review. I got some other Prince movies that I want to review too, and they might not be as flavorful as this one. But yeah, man. Welcome to the channel once again. This is Short Man Filmworks, and this is my everyday film man. This is my everyday man film reviews. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch y'all on the next video. Y'all take it easy.